let's start with a bit of a recap. What do you guys remember? How did the investigation go? Where is it right now? Where are you guys physically in the world?
The investigation was a great success. We prevented another, well, I'm going to call it a murder because of what provokes it, right? Birdie, in his shoot first, ask questions later manner. Just kidding. Him and Garvey, Sheriff Garvey, confronted, would be a good word, right?
Yeah.
Confronted Andrew.
That's correct.
Andrew and Garvey got by each other.
Yep, they did.
Birdie got pretty fucked up visually.
I would say, what is the role? Sanity wise, probably failed that and wound up bleeding through the eyes. Yep. So now his vision's all fuzzy, hopefully temporarily, but the word's still out on that one. Got to go see the doc. So yeah, I would call it a moderate success instead of an astounding success, because I'll defend my position, sir, and then you may do so for you.
Order.
Yeah. Since we showed up, let's see. We had Will Scott or Smithson, or I don't know, one of the dudes in the town got shot by Birdie and died.
That was Smithson.
Thank you, Smithson. Smithson died, Sheriff Garvey died, and Andrew died.
Yep.
Right? All in basically a 24-hour period. And potentially Smithson and Garvey's deaths were avoidable, and potentially Andrew's as well. We don't know that, but the other two died via gunshot. Well, they all three died by gunshot. I digress. I think it would have been a greater success if nobody would have died and we would have discovered the origin of whatever was going on here. But right now we believe we have the origin, i.e. that book, or one of the three books.
And where it came from.
That Tate has. And we know where it came from, a la short description of man in white suit.
And we have Cameron, but Smithson was probably months away from it anyways.
You never know. You cut off the negative influence, and people have a tendency to recover.
But he was like 75.
Oh
no, he wasn't that old.
I was gonna say I got like
old.
I got like early mid 50s vibe.
Yeah, like
I was told old.
early 60s, late 50s.
What was the life expectancy in 1912?
Who
13?
knows?
I mean, on average, it was probably late 40s, early 50s, but folks still made it to their,
True.
80s and 90s. It just wasn't as common.
Now, Tate Clay and Birdie Johnson boarded their train. I believe the train started taking off, and Tate Clay did his best and I think convinced Birdie to investigate their proof that they brought back with them.
That's correct. You have convinced Birdie to get a hotel when we get back to Harrisburg so we can read this book in privacy and see what we can figure out. Although Birdie was reluctant, i.e. blurred vision and, having already succumbed to the malevolence of the book prior. But he's going to join you because he knows you're going to do it regardless. So might as well have a buddy there. Buddy team.
I think we can kind of skip most of the train ride. Do you guys think that Birdie and Clay talk like we just did about, well, this is what I saw, this is what I saw? Do either of you feel like you would hide or keep something from the other? And if so, you and I need to talk about it privately.
Birdie's pretty straightforward with it. Yeah, he wouldn't purposely omit anything from Tate.
Yeah, I don't think there would be secrets.
As the train departs town, you get, again, the breath of the full whiff of devastation that has happened to just the nature of this area. as you're speeding along down the tracks. It's awful. The train ride is calm, uneventful. It's a busier train than the last one. Good number more people on it, heading east with you. Get your food, get your drinks, think about things, sit back and relax.
Birdie would spend the majority of the train ride leaned back as far as he can with his hat over his eyes, try and rest and let those bad boys recuperate.
Is Tate still getting a feelings from the books?
Tate has a... Where is he keeping the books? Like in the seat next to him, in the luggage?
Yeah, they're going to be tucked in the seat next to him, between him and the window. I think really what he's trying to discern is if the proximity to the town and his distance away from it is making the whatever bond this book might have or feeling that it's giving off change.
It definitely has. There's less, when you were in the mill, there was this like encompassing threat, like being in water with a large predator of some kind. And now it feels different. You feel safer, relatively safe. You don't feel like there's some imminent thing about to, do you harm. But there is still this unease, this discomfort. Birdie doesn't necessarily get the same feeling. His is a little bit less. But Clay, you have the same type of sensation as somebody who's afraid of heights sitting right on the edge of a very tall precipice.
Okay. So Tate will be nursing in small amounts liquor on the train ride and trying to hide that he's low-key white-knuckling the bench and not sleeping.
Once it gets kind of late, one of the attendants politely whispers, "Would you like some coffee?"
Yes, please.
Okay, all right. She keeps going. "Would you like some coffee? Would you like... Oh, okay. Coffee?" You eventually get back to Harrisburg, depart from the train station along with a pretty large number of other people. Even more folks get on after you. What do you guys do?
Ready to find a room, Birdie?
I'll follow your lead on this one.
There's a place a few blocks down the street. I know we can stay.
All right. Well, sooner in, sooner done. Let's go move it.
There is a cheap hotel nearby. It's the Sleepy Grouse Hotel.
Place looks as good as any, huh, Birdie?
Birdie's just going to think to himself, how close is this to the bookstore that he visited?
The first one or the second one?
Second one.
About 45 minutes by foot.
Okay.
Half that if you hail a carriage or something.
Yeah, I think this will work.
And we walk in.
It's clearly a cheap hotel, but not the worst that either of you have ever seen. In the front lobby are a few uncomfortable-looking chairs and the smell of an old carpet that's far past the point of needing to be replaced. Behind the desk is an older woman with kind eyes but harsh wrinkles. She smiles and nods at you as you two walk in. "Hi. 2?
What time of day?
10 a.m.
Morning, miss. Yeah, we got 2.
2, okay.
Just for one night.
Okay, that'll be 52 cents.
And
Tate will hand over the money.
You hear a drawer open up. She pulls out 2 keys and sets them down. Then she points to a very large open book.
Go ahead and sign in.
Tate will.
Birdie will also sign in.
Using your real names.
No, Tate will use his alias of Hunter Peters.
Kate Tlay?
Hunter Peters.
Hunter Peters?
Birdie doesn't apply any subterfuge or anything. He's just like, Hubert Johnson.
After the two of you sign in, one as, what was his name? I'm going to write that down.
Hunter Peters.
She slides the keys toward the two of you.
Have a good night.
And thanks.
They are like old keys, beat up, clearly. Been dropped, been stepped on, rustled around in plenty of pockets. But there is a new looking tag, twist tied onto them. 31 and 30.
As we're walking up the stairs, it's like, we're using your room.
What one's mine? What one's mine? Tate will look at the keys that he's holding.
30, the one you signed for.
Yours is 30. Clay's is 30.
I thought she was just giving us one room. A little
What?
confused.
Nothing to be confused about now, so
She did ask, 2?
it's, yeah. Well, let's just get up there and read the dang thing and get this over with.
And we head to room 30.
Inside the room, it's a cheap hotel. The floor is peeling in some of the corners, and just in front of the desk are 4 permanent impressions from a chair that is missing. Underneath the bench by the coat rack is a dead cockroach, but at least the walls are freshly painted white, and the candles all look to be relatively new.
Tate will take a seat on the bench, reach into the bag, and he's going to pull out the half bloodstained journal to start.
The notebook was the bloodstained one.
He's going to pull out the journal to start. Birdie, I think his journal might be a good place to start with this.
Well, we got 3 books and 2 idiots, so why don't you pick the one you want to start with? I'll start with another one.
Yeah, this might be good for your eyes. And he hands you the bloodstained notebook.
Yeah, let me just see if I can read it.
So, when you open up the bag, the satchel, and Clay, you do recognize it. You recognized it. It's the same satchel that Andrew was holding when you first encountered him, that he was clutching onto. When you reach into the bag, the journal on the bottom, the stack, they were in a stack of the green book, the journal, the notebook. The notebook was soaked in blood, and the blood is now pretty sticky. You kind of have to peel it off of the bag, but you really have to peel it off the journal. You have to give it a little bit more force than you feel like you should have to. Do you leave the green book in the bag? When you set it back down on the bench next to you, the bench almost creaks. Like something a little heavier just got put on it.
That was weird.
What's that?
Which book are you reading, Clay? The journal?
The journal.
The journal is well worn and mostly filled. Cracking open the journal, the very first page is signed by Philip Bolnoskry. There is a purple powder on some of the pages, kind of like, finger impressions. But also some of it looks rather deliberate. You recognize the look of it, kind of looks like the same stuff the circle was made with. There's several odd shapes, symbols, clearly added afterward, after, the text, after it had been filled out initially. You also recognize those. They're similar, though not all identical, to the ones that you found under the bridge and in the mill. Picking up this book, you get a distinct feeling of regret, of sorrow, of mourning. The handwriting looks familiar. You recognize it pretty quickly to the poems that you found, and it looks a little familiar to the other journals. Though the writing is easier to follow, it's cleaner in this journal. Philip writes about his days, his dreams of being a writer, his dreams of falling in love. He writes about his parents' disapproval, about his failures, about his future, his lack thereof. He felt he had nothing to look forward to, no one and nothing to live for. The last page written reads, "And thus with a kiss." Birdie, the last book is a notebook. The majority of the pages are soaked in thick, now dried blood. It smells of iron. There are several pages clearly ripped out throughout the notebook. The handwriting is similar to the page that you found in Andrew's room, which you, I assume, still have.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a skill that would help you kind of read this book, just given the condition?
Intelligence 85, education 73. Let's see, no archaeology 60, and occult, but I don't know if that really applies.
No, it's just because the notebook is so fucked up. I'm trying to determine how much of it you're actually able to glean.
60 in library.
Roll a library check.
All right. 35 under 60. Success.
Okay. The light from outside. Do you guys have the windows open? Or the curtains open?
If they were open when we entered the room, we'd keep them open. If they weren't, Birdie would have opened them.
Okay. It's pretty bright inside. There is the, brick wall of another building almost directly, right in front of the window. Light is coming in, but it's not the brightest. But you don't feel the need to light candles or anything like that. Birdie, you're holding this notebook. Like I said, you can tell some pages. The first third of it is the most readable parts of it. You still have to peel pages occasionally. The book notes attempts at a love spell. Lillian and Stephanie, but it never worked. There was another spell, though it's less vague, and that's the terminology being used as spell, or ritual, or incantation, though it's spelled wrong. This spell that he mentions, but is kind of vague, it failed, similar to the attempts at getting Lillian and Stephanie to love him. It mentions that even after summoning the spirit of Philip for an entity, still nothing. There's mentions of Philip's spiritual domination. He describes the usefulness of body parts when using some of the spells. He's surprised the spit from Geraldine worked as well as hair or nails. He describes the feeling of suddenly being in one place and then another. How each time he would try something, each use would harm him mentally and physically. He mentions the book and how it suggests waiting no less than 6 days before attempting anything, lest it ravage you, spirit and body. He mentions a man who gave him the book, mentions the man wore white from head to toe, had a pink flower on his chest, had a southern accent. There's a line, a sentence that catches your eye. It reads, "I'll never forget the look in his eyes when I asked him that question. Absolutely, in all caps. I knew then what I was destined for. Absolutely, he said. I knew then what I was destined for." Continuing to flip through it. Most of it is destroyed at this point, but that is what you're able to glean with your success.
Tate, this is the notebook of Andrew. I recognize the writing, found some pages missing from this in his room.
Anything important on those pages?
Yeah, it's him attempting to fulfill certain spells and incantations, and if I were a betting man, I'd be willing to bet that there book. And Birdie's going to point at the one still sitting on the bench.
It's in the bag still.
Yep, sitting in the bag on the bench. Yeah, if I was a betting man, something tells me that inside that book and that bag, we're going to find all manner of spells and incantations that folks can try.
That's why I was kind of looking at these first. You know, Cameron said that he was able to look over Andrew's shoulder a time or two, but couldn't understand or read a single word in the book.
Couldn't read or understand it.
Yeah, it seemed like a foreign language to him, but yet Andrew understood it.
Well, what do you got? Because I'm done with this one.
It's your Phillips journal.
Okay.
Ends the same way the rest of them.
All right.
And looking between these two, he summoned the hate and sadness, I would say. And that's what caused everyone else to follow in Philip's footsteps.
All right. Well, it's a working theory. Let's take a peek at that third one and see if we can't make a lick of sense of it.
Well, it's either everything or nothing. Tate will pull it out of the bag, set it on his lap, and open to the first page.
Birdie's gonna kind of stand next to him and read over his shoulder.
The book is a dull green, leather-bound. Looks to be a recent style of binding, but upon closer inspection, it is very old. Grabbing it, who grabs it from the bag? Clay, you do?
Tate.
There is an instant sense of wrongness. When you know you shouldn't do something, but you do. You know, I should return the shopping cart, but I'm just going to leave it. That feeling of I shouldn't do that. Do you persist?
Yes.
He grabs the book, gets that sense, takes it out of the bag. You get the distinct impression that something isn't happy. Can I have you make an intelligence check? Both of you? Or rather, education.
Okay. I rolled a 33 under 73, critical success.
God, you guys are smart.
54 under 70 success.
The book is clearly far older than the binding could allow. At least 100 years, if not more. When you open the book, there is a very clear sensation that something else is present. There's some shadows in the corner that shimmer almost like a curtain caught in a breeze. You look up and it's nothing. But there is also that feeling that something is watching.
All right, Tate, I know you feel that.
Tate will flip the page.
The image of crooked teeth, frowning wide, with thick saliva dripping from the sides, crosses Clay's mind. Clay, can I see your character sheet? Can I get both of yours? Thank you. I don't ask you guys to make sanity rolls very often. Part of the reason I don't is you guys have seen violence, and while the audience doesn't know, both characters have had experience with less than natural phenomena. So, you know, when the characters get into a fight and they have to shoot ghouls or something, I don't know. I think that sanity is something that should be kept private, and the audience should watch degrade, not necessarily know the, you know, numerical value of. So I'm going to ask both of you to make a very important sanity check. Clay, you open the book. You get these sensations, these feelings grow, they amplify. And most of the wording is in gibberish. It's like cuneiform. It's like nothing. Scribbles, scratches, meaningless. But once in a while, a word appears very clear. Random words. Is. Anchor. About. Not enough to really glean anything from it. Birdie. About a third of the words are legible, but the rest look similar to what I just described. The book has no author listed or dates. Birdie is able to glean some meaning from the book using context cues. Birdie, go ahead and again make another library check.
That is a 93 over 60 fail.
Mark it down.
Thank you.
I'm not even sure if that's the proper use of the library.
No, I think that's finding stuff
Dewey
in
Decimal
the
System
library.
and
Yeah,
the system.
I think it's supposed to be like research, you know, but that's fine.
I don't think there's a research category.
Well, that's what library is meant to be in place of, you know.
We're trying to read books. It's the closest I could think.
Yeah. And I'm giving it to you. I think that's perfectly fine and
What
valid.
about this read skill?
Is there a fuck? Oh, dude. Okay. What did you roll?
I rolled a 93 over 60 failure.
Okay. Birdie is able to glean some meaning from the book using context cues. About 1/3 of each page is legible, randomly.
You getting anything from this, Birdie?
Besides the heebie-jeebies,
Oh. All I see is there's an and over here. There's a... Gosh, I can't even make out what this says.
yeah, I'm getting every third word, but it ain't in order. You know, like this book's wrong. This is wrong.
Well, the commissioner can't try to put us in our place about no proof this time, right? We clearly got something a little more fucked up than that stupid little card he showed us.
Well, that's right. That's right. We definitely got. Yeah, this is. Man, I want to close this thing.
Yeah, Birdie, I think you're right on the closing this up. And he's going to flip a page.
Wait, hold on. I can make sense. I can make sense of that right there.
These squiggles?
Just hold on.
So, at one point, the author is making a statement, it seems, about an experiment. Sounds like he thought it would fail, and it did. There's descriptions about an entity. There's some passages that say something about love, another one about moving, one about channeling. There's one that's a little bit more clear, mentions bones having a great effect, even small ones. And another passage.
I can just about make that one out. Kinda. Birdie focuses on the page. For the Necrovocare conducer, For currency, its age, feeding slowly, devouring voraciously, using anchor, strings, powerful, dangerous.
Birdie grabs his notebook and pencil, begins scribbling down some of the words that he can make out, some of the phrases.
Important to space. The rest of it's just kind of blurring together, man. I can't get more, but Necrovo rare, conducer, powerful, dangerous, important to space, anchor. These are the instructions. These have to be the instructions that Andrew was trying to follow on this.
The hell's a Necrovo inducer?
Necrovo rare, conducer. Well, that's gibberish is what it is.
Well, whatever it is, clearly they were doing something with it.
Mm-hmm. Either way, I get...
You said hungry and angry?
Devouring voraciously, feeding slowly. Blank for currency. Pointer finger and touch the book. Touch right on the page that he's trying to read.
Birdie reaches out and touches the book. Is Clay pointing to like a particular page or passage?
He just said, touch the book.
Birdie reaches out and touches the words that he's partially reading.
Birdie, you also get that mental image of teeth. It's the first time he's seen it. It's just like a flash, an image across your mind.
Well, that's an ugly grill.
You see it?
Yeah, crooked teeth, frowning, drooling.
Yeah, I think I've seen it. This is at least the second time now. First time I saw it was when I walked in the scene with Andrew. But I think this second time was a little more defined. There was a face of sorts. Almost like the devil himself.
If that ain't reason enough to shut this.
But that makes sense with the hunger. Right?
Maybe.
And Tate will slam the book shut.
Birdie obviously had moved his fingers prior.
The curtains waver a little bit with that. What do you do then?
Tate's going to look around, and I'm assuming there's something in this unit that has some rope on it. Or twine, or...
Yeah, he starts looking around. There's shelves, dresser. Roll a luck check.
$70/29.
The only rope or like string type of thing that you find would be the curtain or the bed sheets or a towel.
Tate will stand up and he's going to start taking his belt off.
Man, you could just save your belt and put it back in the bag. I mean, we've been sitting with it for hours.
You sure?
Yeah, I did. I mean, you felt any like urge for it to fly open and get on out? Feel like it's contained in there, man. I just throw it back in the satchel. And we can't say, but we can say we did our own research. But man, this thing is, I don't know, to put a name on it, I'd call it pure evil. Ain't no other vibe I get from it. Figure the quicker we get this out of our hands, put it in the CPMPs, the better off we are.
Tate will put his belt back on.
What say you?
I say we head there now, Birdie.
I agree.
And we make our way out of the hotel. Tate just leaves the keys on, like, the dresser of the room. Hence why he used a fake name, so he didn't have to check out, if that was a thing back then. And once they're out and on the street, you know, Birdie, there's supposed to be balance in this world, right?
What are you getting at?
A good and an evil.
Okay.
So if we can take it that, I guess, we're the good, right? And
As far as I know.
this book's supposed to be the evil.
Yeah.
I wonder if this book was always evil or if it was tainted.
Well, now you're talking to the origin of it. And
It just makes a man wonder.
I have no idea who wrote it or how they wrote it. Right. I would say that I'm maybe not the most devout person in the world, but I have, I have kept an ear open towards the discussion of heaven and hell and all of that seems to encompass.
I don't know if this book necessarily touches either of those planes, though. I don't think it's as religious as heaven and hell. I think it's as simple as good and evil.
Isn't that the point of heaven and hell? Good versus evil?
Well, that's where they say you should go, or you're gonna go, right?
Oh, it's more than that. Come on, man. You didn't pay attention in school.
But my point being, Birdie, is I only have a sense that we're going to be up against a lot more of this.
True.
But if they're getting more of these spells, as he does air quotes with his fingers, what's there for us? Lead?
Well, I mean, lead's done us a good spell thus far, hasn't it?
So if somebody's able to figure this out, though, you don't think somebody on our side might have found out the opposite?
Well, I think we got to put in a bit more time at the CPMP.
Well, that's a given.
Yeah, we don't have all the
But
all
do
the
you see where I'm
answers.
going with it?
Yeah, right. We're running into some bad hoodoo out there.
And there's no good hoodoo.
Well, as far as we know, there ain't no good hoodoo, and I'm not convinced there ain't.
But I don't know. After this, I feel like we're deserve some answers. They told us phenomenon, right? They didn't tell us get your brain fucked up.
I'll tell you what, man, when we get on over there, why don't you raise that there question to either Zorson or Allery? Whoever happens to be there, I'll stand there right with you.
Well, as long as I got you in my corner, Birdie.
I'll be right there. But I suggest we get right there stat.
We're making our way.
All right.
I'm thinking. You got any sort of pull with the Marshals?
I mean, I am a marshal as far as like political clout.
Not political, just thinking Cameron be a good fit.
Where is Cameron?
He's still in White Round.
I thought I thought didn't Tate want to bring him with us?
Yeah, so I gave him some cash and told him to get their stuff in order and head on down here.
So you want to recruit Cameron to the order?
Well,
Not the order. So you want to recruit Cameron to the CPMP?
Order of the Phoenix. No, well, eventually, but like I did, like you did, I think he's got to do his time in the service first.
I mean, there are many services for him to do his time in. If you're trying to mentor the kid, I mean, all the power to you. And if you want to begin that path, I can put in whatever word I can. But I mean, it seems like we got a pretty small outfit right now. In fact, I mean,
Well, I'm talking the Marshal Service to start.
the Marshal Service.
It's a lot easier to get in than the Secret Service. No disrespect.
Well, marshals at this point in time were appointed, but they were like presidential appointment.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Shit, all of them?
That's what I read. And it's one of those things where, like, it's not like you were a friend of the president. It's like people put in applications.
Where would you start? Would he go to, like, the sheriff's?
Yeah. So like that's where his character's background. You already know some of this was a Texas Ranger.
Okay.
And so if for some reason a Texas Ranger did like outstanding, work and then applied, or suggested, hey, I want to be a marshal, the United States president would just like read that and then stamp it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Or he'd have a member of his staff read it, and then they'd put it in front of him like, hey, we got a new candidate for the Marshal program. We think he's a good fit. Okay.
And in some instances, like what I was reading is it was, there weren't like requirements necessarily. And in some cases it was like a political thing, but generally it was, hey, this guy did some good shit. We think he could, do good.
Let's upgrade him from the state level to the federal level.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, Billy and I ain't necessarily the best of friends, right?
What do you mean?
With Taft.
The president?
Yeah, so I don't have like all this great pull to get.
Is that who gets you your job, Birdie?
I mean, presidentially appointed. I am a U.S. Marshal, not some, ticket puller, Secret Service member.
Well,
a bit more prestigious of an appointment.
All this time we spent together, I don't know how I didn't put two and two together.
I mean,
If you could put in a word, and I'll send him down if he ever shows up.
Those stamps don't counterfeit themselves, right? Interagency rivalry. Oh, rivalry. I'm sorry.
Rivalry.
Sir, the commission don't take taxes out of our check, right? I sure hope you're putting some away. And he kind of slapped you. I'm kidding, Birdie.
Yeah, I know, man. Hey, if you think Cameron's got what it takes, you want to put him on the path, I'm all for it.
I feel it's better than his Michigan.
You guys get to St. Michael Street, turn right. You see the distinct stag-shaped keystone above the door of the CPMP. Walk inside.
What is it, noon?
Yeah. About lunchtime.
All right. Let's get this over with.
Hello. It's me, Cody Zenner. Yours truly, the Dungeon Master, the Handler, the Keeper, the game narrator guy who... Oh my god. My cat just knocked over a bunch of stuff down the hallway, and I can see it pouring out into the hallway, and, well, I gotta go clean that up. But first, I'm going to finish recording this before I go clean up my cat's mess that he made. Thank you for doing that. So, what am I here to say? What am I always here to say? It starts with thank you. It starts with big, tremendous, there's all this thanks, just floating around in the air, and I'm scooping a bunch of it up, and I'm compacting it into a ball, and I'm throwing it at your face, and it's exploding with thankfulness. That's what I'm doing right now. So, thank you for listening to the show, and I want to thank you in advance, hopefully, for sharing the show with your friends, for liking, for subscribing, for rating the show, for leaving a comment, a thoughtful little comment. And, next time you see a post that says, oh, what's like a pretty good show I need to listen to, what you should tell them, maybe. I'm not telling you how to live your life. Anyway, a couple other things, right? Same old. We got Patreon. We've got merch. We've got things to look at, things to wear, things to drink a piping hot cup of coffee from, stickers to put all over your laptop, etc. Many such things and whatnot. So Yeah, this episode is going to be a bit of a two-parter. You know, I was editing it, and I'm like, well, you know, we're at just about that hour-long mark, pretty close to it, and we have, well, shoot, a whole lot more. So, yeah, I'm splitting this episode into two. You get a part one, you get a part two. And then following up will be the characters at home. You get to learn more about Tate Clay's home life and Birdie Johnson's home life. And then from there, we begin chapter 3. And that's that. I hope all of you are having a wonderful, fantastic, amazing, just stupendous, joyful, and gay Tuesday. Whatever. Yeah, you know, maybe leave a comment. How was your day today? Leave a little comment, or hop in the Discord and just talk about your nerdy things. Talk about, I don't know, the Battlefield 6 beta. You talk about Helldivers 2, the ODST crossover event. You know, talk about your Mothership campaign that you're trying to run. Talk about your D&D campaign. Ooh, a fun one would be, you know, share your best and worst experiences in D&D within reason. Okay, within reason. You know, like a story of a bad D&D game that's entertaining. Okay, you know what I mean. Okay, and if you're not sure, well, don't do it. Okay, like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. It's kind of fun. I have fun stories like that. Oh man, I don't know if I have time to tell this in the post credits thing, but I think I'll mention it in our Patreon, Old Parasol Offline, at some point. There was this one time. I guess I'll get the layout. There was this house that I was friends with, and none of them had ever played D&D before. And I, of course, being a young fool, had written my own D&D campaign from scratch, and it was extremely stereotypical, very cliche, even down to, the party wakes up at a tavern, you know, type of thing. So yeah. And then none of them had ever played before. And some of them, like, they wanted to play, but they didn't fully understand the concept. And then it got bad. There was mead, like literally a gallon of mead anyway, I'll tell that story another time. Like I said, probably on the Patreon. But anyway, thanks for listening to me ramble and give you guys updates on this, that, and the other. And I will see you guys next week. Bye.